About a year and a half ago, I was heading back to my apartment after a cousin's engagement party in Ridgewood. It was already late, and the drive back to my place in Lakehaven took nearly 2 hours. I thought about staying the night, but I had an early shift the next morning and figured I'd just power through the drive. Most of the route was a narrow highway that cut through miles of thick woods. Tall trees leaned over the road and the bushes along the sides were so dense you could barely see past them. It looked exactly like the kind of place horror movies love to use for their creepy scenes. About 40 minutes into the drive, exhaustion hit me like a wave. 1 minute I was fine, the next my eyes felt heavy and I was struggling to stay focused. You know that sudden kind of tired that comes out of nowhere? That's what it felt like. I kept hoping I'd find a rest stop or even a small parking area, but there was nothing except trees and darkness. Eventually I realized I couldn't keep driving safely, but there was still nowhere obvious to stop. So I made a decision that, looking back, probably wasn't the smartest. I eased my car off the road onto a patch of grass hidden behind some thick shrubs, trying to keep the car out of sight from passing traffic. The road wasn't completely empty. Every few minutes another car would drive by. I glanced at the dashboard clock, 11:17 p.m. Then I leaned my seat back and fell asleep almost immediately. I woke up later to a strange scraping noise. Half asleep, I checked the time, 11:46 p.m. The sound stopped after a few seconds. I was still incredibly tired, so I shrugged it off and drifted back to sleep. The next time I woke up, it was the same noise again, but this time it didn't stop. My clock now read 12:33 a.m. That's when it started to really bother me. My first thought was that some kind of animal was sniffing around the car. But why would it come back almost an hour later? I slowly looked into my rearview mirror. Just for a split second, I saw something darting away into the trees behind me. At the time, my imagination immediately went wild. I remembered those old urban legends about someone scratching a car to lure the driver outside. That thought alone was enough to make my stomach drop. I decided I wasn't sticking around to find out what it was. I started the engine and pulled back onto the road as fast as I could. About 100 yards ahead there was a sharp curve. As I rounded it, my headlights caught another car parked on the shoulder. Its driver's door was wide open, but there was no one inside. Curious and honestly a little uneasy, I slowed down for a second to look. The seat was empty. The engine was off. Then I glanced in my mirror again. At that exact moment, a man suddenly came sprinting around the bend behind me. He was running straight toward my car, waving his arms and shouting, "Hey! Stop! Pull over!" His voice sounded angry, almost desperate. Every instinct I had told me not to stop. I hit the gas and drove away as fast as I could. I kept checking my mirrors for miles, but I never saw the man or that car again. To this day, I still have no idea what was scratching at my car that night, or why that guy came running out of the darkness. But one thing I learned from the whole experience: never fall asleep on the side of an empty road in the middle of nowhere.